All right, we're back again with the second part of Learning Guide 15. So now we are on example 2, looking at some sum and differences. And now we have something that is a sine 15 here. So if you look at sine 15, and it wants us to find the exact values. Well, if you look at the triangles, and we have the 30, the 45, the 60, the 90s, the 180s, the 270s. This is not any of those. So what we have to do here is put two together, and we have to get an answer of 15 because we're dealing with exact values. Well, I can look at this, and I look up above here, and I'm saying, well, I have a couple options. I can go 45 take away 30. I know that equals 15. Or you can do 60 take away 45. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use 45 take away 30. So now I look at that, and this, from looking at this sign, and it's a minus b, I look up here, and I know I'm doing this guy right here, because there's my a and there's my b. So I write it all out. So sine of a, remember a is 45, cos of b, well, cos of b, well, b is 30, and then it's minus cos of 45 and sine of 30. So what we're doing here is expanding it out to get an answer. So underneath each of these, you're going to write down the ratios, the exact ratios, which we know from our triangles. All right. So looking at the triangles, I know this is 1 over root 2. And the 30 cosine is root 3 over 2 minus the cos of 45, that's 1 over square root 2, and the sine of 30 is 1 over 2. Now I'm going to do some multiplying. So 1 times root 3 is root 3 over 2 root 2 take away 1 times 1 is 1 over 2 root 2. And this just simplifies. Let's go over here a bit more. You just take the numerator, so root 3 minus 1, and all over the common denominator, and they'll always be common. So if you're not getting a common denominator, you probably picked the wrong ratio, and that's the answer. Okay, so for cos 105, I can go 60 plus 45, and I know that will become a cos a plus b. So when I write it out, it's cos 60 cos 45 minus sin 60 cos 45. Now I write down the ratios, do the minus between them, and I get 1 over 2, 1 over square root 2, root 3 over 2, and 1 over square root of 2. And now I multiply. I get 1 over 2 root 2 take away root 3 over 2 root 2, and that gets me 1 minus square root 3 over 2 root 2. And yes, a lot of times they are very similar to each other, and that's the answer. All right, let's look at C. Well, example C here we notice that if I look at all those angles up here, I'm trying to get 195 looking at these guys, and it's very difficult. I can't put any two together to get 195. So if that happens, we'll draw a picture, and then maybe we can get the reference angle and work from the reference angle. So let's draw where this is. Okay, so 195. Well, we know that's 90, that's 180, so it's just a little bit past 180. So there's our guy. And now this reference angle right here is 15. So I can change this into a tan 15, but be really, really aware of the quadrants. So watch for quadrants, because it changes the sign of the ratios. Well, here I'm in add sugar. I'm in the T quadrant, so it's doesn't affect anything because everything's going to be positive there for tans. Okay, so now I'm going to say, tan 15. I'm going to write down tan 60, take away 45. And you can use 45, take away 30 and get the same results, but I'm just going to use this one. Now we write it out. So we have tan 60 take away tan 45 all over 1 plus tan 60 times tan 45. Now I'm going to write the ratios. Well, the ratio for that guy, tan 60, well, tan 60 is root 3 over 1. Tan 45 is just 1. Then it's 1 plus the tan of 60 is root 3 times 1. Now we just do a little bit of tidying up, and so we get root 3 minus 1 all over 1 plus root 3 is the answer. Okay. Now 2b. So I like to change radians into degrees because I find it easier looking at these exact triangles. So we times by 180 and then divide by that. And that gets us a sine negative 15. Now I can put this together as a 30 take away 45. And I know that's a sine A minus B. So I write down that formula. So I have sine 30, and then I have cos 45 minus sine, or pardon me, cos 30 sine 45. Now I write down the ratios. And we know that sine of 30 is 1 over 2, and that's 1 over square root 2. And cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2 and 1 over square root 2. So I get 1 over 2 minus root 3 over 2 root 2, which gets us 1 minus. All right, Same thing here, I'm going to times it by 180 and then divide by 6. And what we get here is cos 210. And I would draw this one, even though you can put 180 with 30 and do that expanded version. I try to see if I can get it to a simpler one, and then I can work from there. So in this situation, if I draw 210 degrees, you'll see that 210 is about there. I have an exact leftover reference angle, 30. So now I can just plug in what I know from those guys, and I can get the answer without doing all that expanding business. So cos, remember cos is a over h, and the a is negative root 3 over 2. Okay, again, take some time and pause and get the answer, and I'll write down the answers. So hopefully you got the same. And those are the answers. So these happen to be the same, so it doesn't matter. I just went through the procedure and got the answer.